Hi kids, welcome to a Lego Bible story. I have Action Jesus over here, but this story has Jesus in it, so I have our Lego-sized Jesus as well. And this is only a couple of verses from the Gospel of Matthew. So Peter, who's one of the disciples, came to Jesus and said, "Lord, if another member of the church sins against me, so hurts me, how often should I forgive? As many as 7 times?" And Jesus said, "Not 7 times, but 77 times." 77 times is what Jesus said that Peter should forgive. Wonder what 77 looks like. Let's see. I have 11 piles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oops. Well, clearly I'm going to have to move these closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, so closer still. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That feels like a lot already. And let's see how high those have to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to take me a long time to build. 77 times. And Jesus didn't say that was like 77 times total, right? Like you could keep a chart and see how many times your brother was mean to you. Like maybe that ever happened to me. And have to forgive them just that amount of times. And then when you were done, when you hit 77, you wouldn't have to do that anymore. But when Peter said to Jesus, it was, if somebody does something against me, how many times should I forgive them? I think that was probably for each time. It didn't sound like it was for just one. 77 times. That's a lot of times and a lot of forgiveness. I wonder what it really means to forgive. I think that forgiving means not being mad anymore. Doesn't mean you have to like the person. Doesn't mean you have to want to play with them. Just means that you're not going to keep being mad at them. Forgiving doesn't mean that you should keep getting hurt. Like if somebody did something that hurt you, you can forgive them and not be mad at them anymore and still stay pretty far away from them. Forgiving doesn't mean letting people keep doing things to you. It just means that when they do, you don't stay mad at them. 77 times. I'm going to run out of Lego, just so you know. Middle piece. That's a lot of times. I wonder why Jesus wants us to forgive that much. I wonder what you think. I wonder sometimes if the reason that Jesus wants us to forgive that much is because it's not good for us to carry all of that anger inside us. I wonder if the reason Jesus wants us to forgive, if it's more about us than the person we forgive. What do you think? Have you ever been really, really mad at somebody? It almost takes over all your thinking, right? Like, you can just think about how mad you are at that person. And if you're so busy being mad, does it get in the way of things that are fun or give you pleasure? If all your energy is about being mad, I wonder if that's why Jesus did it. I wonder if you have ever forgiven anybody. What does that feel like? Sometimes when I hear these stories, I like to think that I'm the good guy. The one who has to forgive. Peter was asking, how many times do I have to forgive? And a lot of times I think, well, I must be Peter in that story. But sometimes I'm the person who needs to be forgiven. I did something to hurt somebody, whether or not I meant to. And then when I listen to the story and I hear 77 times, that feels pretty different. It's one thing to have to forgive 77 times, but to be able to be forgiven 77 times, that's kind of cool, actually. I wonder if you do that, if you listen to the story and you assume you're the good guy. I think most of us do. But we're not always, are we? And that's one of the things about Jesus and forgiveness. That he wants us to forgive others. But he also wants us to be forgiven. Have you ever done something to somebody that was pretty bad and you hurt them? And then they forgave you? How'd that feel, I wonder? I wonder what the world would be like if we all did this forgiveness thing. If we didn't hold on to the anger, and the mad, if we just let that go and stopped being mad. I wonder if we'd be happier. I think I probably would be. I wonder how often we need reminders. I don't know about you. I need a lot of reminders. Particularly if I'm really mad. So sometimes the things that Jesus says are hard to do. Actually, a lot of the times the things that Jesus says are hard to do. And a lot of the times, they feel hard to do when we're the person who has to do them. If we're the person who has to do the forgiving, that can feel pretty hard. But if we're the person who gets forgiven, that can feel pretty good. And a lot of the times when Jesus is saying things, if we look at it like we're the person who has to do it, it's hard. But if we're the person who gets to get it, it feels pretty wonderful. So I wonder if we all tried to do those things. If we all tried to do the hard things. And we're so happy when they were done for us. I wonder what would be different. All right. Apparently I'm having a lot of trouble forgiving 77 times. I don't know. That's just to illustrate that it is hard. It's not an easy thing to do. I wonder what your favorite part about this story is. I wonder if you've ever wanted to forgive someone, but thought maybe what they did was so bad that you couldn't. This story would give you permission. I wonder if you ever thought that what you did was so bad, it couldn't be forgiven. And I wonder how you hear this story. Because Jesus didn't ask, what is it they did? Jesus just said, 70 times 7. It's a lot of times. I wonder what you'll do with this story.